Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Nancy Yuen. Who am I? I'm a singer and I'm the artistic director of Singapore Lyric Opera. At the same time, I'm also professor of music at the Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts. Today I'm going to share with you about singing, something that is close to my heart and has been with me all my life. Now, we've always been surrounded by beautiful sound and singing and songs. There are actually roughly about 8 different types of singing and different types of categories. The first one is pop music. We all know pop music because we're grown up with it. They're online, they're on the television, they're very accessible and easy to listen to, and we can join in this with the singing at any time. Then there is heavy metal rock music. Those usually are accompanied by big guitars, electric guitars and drums, and going into big stratosphere of sound and movements, and going from whisper to loud sound and strong beat. And then there are folk songs. Folk songs come from all regions, all parts of the world. Even within one country with different dialects, you can have different types of folk songs. English songs, Korean, Chinese, and I would classify the Cantonese opera, Beijing opera as part of our folk tradition. Very different sound, and because we use our own language, we feel more at home with that. And of course, we have crossover. What is crossover? It's basically an old tune put into nice, beautiful, different accompaniment. A bit like fusion food, I would say. Mixing, matching, bringing classical music into a pop element. And then we have musical theatre. I'm sure all of you have seen 1 or 2 or even more different types of musicals. What are they? Like Phantom of the Opera, or in the older days we have The Sound of Music, and more recent ones we have Harry Potter. What are they? They are stories that people want to know about and being put into music. And usually they are in English because the origin is Broadway in New York and also the West End in London. These 2 places are the most famous place for showing all these beautiful musicals. The range is not too wide and people can hear the words and they really want to know what all the texts are about. Last but not least, we have operatic, classical singing. People sometimes are very scared of that. They think, wow, it is very high art, elite, and don't know how to appreciate that. In fact, this art form has 400 years of history, dating back to Italy, where it started. At the time, people are getting a bit sort of used to church music. They want something different. So they started putting drama into music and put melody to it and put dance element to it. And also they put in an orchestra so that people can hear not just the human voice, but the orchestral sound. So that was the origin of operatic music. And fast forward to present day, 400 years later, there is still a huge following of this art form. So you will ask, what are the similarities amongst these 8 groups of different songs and singing? We singers are very lucky because we get to sing the words. All the other instrumentalists, they only play the music or they beat the drums with no words. We have stories to tell, we have different phrases, and we have emotions, happy, sad, melancholic, or we have a message to get across to the people in the form of big strong rhythm or very sad, soft, low notes or high notes. And also the range of sound is also a similarity, sometimes very high, sometimes very low, because the human voice is fascinating. Every voice is unique. There are the similarities. Now, come to differences. A lot. Without going too technical, I would tell you pop music, rap music, folk songs, or rock and roll, they're range of sound is about 1.5 octave. What is an octave, you ask me? So this is 1 octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then the next octave, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la. So opera singing covers 2 octaves and sometimes more. That is the biggest difference. And opera singing, usually, we do not require amplification, so no microphones for us. We sing with our bodies, using the resonance in our body as soundboard to magnify it to the audience. Of course, the technique is different, but this has been around for 400 years. Can you imagine? 400 years ago, they don't have microphones, they don't even have electricity, so they have to find ways to let the sound go across beyond the small environment. So they started developing the breath and the strong technique to have this operatic way of singing, and it has been in our tradition all this time. Whereas the other genre, apart from folk songs, they have been only around, the rest have been only around quite recently, I would say less than 100 years ago. Certainly some of them are only maybe in the last decade or 2 or 3, through the help of electronic devices. So here we are, the big differences. Amplification, no amplification, and range of sound from low to high, or more accessible, closer to the speaking voice, as in pop music. What makes classical music stand out? Why do people want to listen to that after all these hundreds of years? Because it is an art form and is similar to going to a Michelin star restaurant, enjoying the beautiful quality of taste. And sound is also a matter of taste. It's also the familiarity that people are brought up with. And because operatic music and classical music is so complex, with different orchestral sound inside and a human voice on top, people want to hear more. Sometimes you hear, a clarinet is playing alongside the flute on this certain passages, or sometimes you hear the drums rolling on that passages. It is absolutely fascinating. The more you hear, the more you will enjoy the beautiful quality that the composers have written. And that's why it stands the test of time. And it's also like a beautiful classic painting. Why are they worth so much money? Because they want to really visually enjoy the different qualities, different shades and colors and the complexity. And sometimes, first time when they see it, they miss something. And the second time they thought, that's what I missed. And that's what I really appreciate even more. And the same for classical operatic music. I certainly enjoy it, and not only do I enjoy it as an audience, I love singing it because it gives me the freedom on stage to be somebody else. That's why this art form is so alive. There are lots of practitioners. People have the voices and the talent to share with all the people around them, and we're dying to show off. And at the same time, audiences really want to share the excitement in those 2 hours, 3 hours, and really know what to expect of the sound, something that they really look forward to. That's why we keep watching Carmen, Aida, La Bohème, Madama Butterfly. People know the story, but they keep coming back. And this happened all over the world because they want to live through the lives of those characters in those few hours, and they enjoy, most importantly, the sound, the beautiful combined sound of the human voice together with the orchestra, sharing those strong emotions. So I urge you all to give it a go. And finally, I'm going to share with you one of the most famous pieces in the entire world, Puccini's O mio babbino caro from the opera Gianni Schicchi. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you all in Voices, a Festival of Song.